Rarely do the maps in CSGO receive so many changes in a single update. The big news is that Anubis, a map from the recent Mapcore competition, has been moved into the competitive map pool less than 2 weeks after its initial inclusion in the game. This map is clearly a fan favourite, and has had a few bug fixes of its own. If you had your shader settings set to medium or below, the reflections here would mess up, with only some of the level being visible, but this has now been fixed. The patch notes weren't specific about where the clipping and boost spots it fixed were, but I compared numerous areas of the map for clipping, and as you can see, many places have been changed. Steps have been ramped, trees have been cordoned off, and edges have been smoothed. The next map I want to cover is Office, which reads like a late April Fool's joke. Based on pro feedback apparently, snow has accumulated on the dumpster at the back. This lets people navigate the whole thing without needing to jump until they reach the windowsill. This should make it easier for attacking CTs to check for camping terrorists without being shot at as they leap up onto the crates. I hope it won't remain as it is though, because the extra snow has very lazily been added on top of what was already there. There's a visible shadow around it and everything. The beverage machines have been restocked, meaning they'll now spew their contents when hit. A bit like the ones in Half-Life 1. Office is now a non-smoking environment, meaning that all these cigarette bin things have been removed to improve navigation across the map. I also spotted that this table has been removed, and from this comparison you can see that the lighting on the props has also been done with different settings, making things glow less and fitting in better with their surroundings. You'll also see in the kitchen room that the chairs have been tucked in, and looking at the clipping, it's all been clipped off, as has the water fountain behind the drinks machine. I've just realised the irony of having a water dispenser next to a free water machine. Oh, and lastly, the light switches have all been swapped out for higher quality 3D models. Though they don't look much like light switches anymore, more like motion detectors. Mirage has had a black block added to beneath this fan so you can no longer see the feet of players stood behind it. As well as this, there are some clipping changes. I noticed this corner near the van is now at 90 degrees, whereas before it was smoothed off a little bit. Not sure if that's an improvement, but it is a change. And from my in-depth comparisons from elsewhere in the map, the only change I saw other than this was to this screwdriver's placement. Just here. What am I doing with my life? Inferno has had its HDR toned down a bit. From these images you can see the sky looks less overexposed compared with the rest of the level. It's also got a new wallbang here in the apartment near A. Using this you can spam through to this corner and even out into Graveyard. But remember, it works both ways, and CTs camped here can also use this to shoot into the apartment. Overpass has had a few changes too. The thing you're trying to blow up at A has been swapped out from being a rocket under a tarpaulin to being a series of generic crates and clean 90-degree angles. This surely fits in with Counter-Strike's bland crate lore better, but it feels like a bit of a step back if you ask me. In fact, if you really want to know what I think, I reckon it's because the green tarpaulin blended in with some of the new custom character models, so this is Valve trying to get them to work by changing the maps instead of the characters. Could at least have coloured the tarpaulin a different colour if that was the case. These skips have had a welcome change. It looks like a new model, but it's actually just how the old one should have looked, were it lit correctly. Seems like it was casting shadows across itself before. It also didn't used to have a clip brush over it, but now it does, which makes jumping on top of it a lot easier. You could get caught on the lip before, unable to run forwards and over it. They fixed Pixel Boost 151 in water, which appears to be along this wall here, which now has an extended clip brush that sticks out a bit more from the wall to stop you from running along it in thin air. And the last thing to have changed is the lighting. The sun casts a more neutral, less warm looking colour. I'd assume this would be to make character models stand out against it more clearly, but it seems like the indoor parts are now a bit darker. And last is Chlorine, which, like Overpass, has received changes to its lighting, which has gotten noticeably brighter and less purple, and has also had its angle shifted so that it's pointing more down. This will brighten up more of the map. You can see that the sun can now reach into places like River, which I think makes it look prettier and will give you more shadows to line your grenades up to. I can't find some of the updates mentioned, like the FBI CT models, who remain as the SAS for now. But I saw that this plywood board, and extra stone in the wall, has been added to Bombsite B. The puddles remain as they were, but no longer reflect the scenery, which apparently helps to prevent a smoke visibility exploit that people were using. This tarpaulin now deflects grenades, thanks to an approximate square grenade brush. And a few bomb-stuck spots have been taken away, like behind this bench just here, and on the top of the wall here. As well as all of these map changes, CSGO has also had a few more general optimizations. A few textures have been compressed to reduce memory consumption. And for users on old Intel hardware, the launch command, -no uber shader, might help your frame rate. But Valve stresses that this isn't going to help the majority of users. In fact, it might lead to even more stuttering. So I think these optimizations will only be felt on ultra low-end hardware, and isn't a miracle cure. So what's next? Will Mirage drop out of the map pool? Will Office replace it, returning with new spawn positions and windows everywhere? Only time will tell.